What if the smartest way to downsize is to never move at all? That response is actually hiding in a question I just got from an empty nester. And here's what they asked, and I want you to see if you can spot the real problem. And I'm going to read it from here. Weldon, we raised our kids in this house. 4 bedrooms, finished basement, the whole thing. Now it's just the two of us, and I feel like I'm drowning in space. Everyone says sell and move to a condo, a townhome, get less square footage. But this is our home. We don't want to leave our neighborhood or start over. Is there any other option, or are we just being stubborn? Wow, what a question. And that is grief dressed up as a real estate question. And here's what most people miss: downsizing isn't always about moving. Sometimes the smartest way to downsize is to stay put and redesign how you live. I'm going to show you 6 strategies that change everything. And pay attention to number 5 because that's where most people leave serious money on the table. Strategy number 1: let go of unused rooms. And here's a question: I want you to mentally walk through your home. Open every door in your mind. If there is a room that you haven't stepped into for a week, a month, maybe longer, that is a problem. Now, ask yourself this: why are you spending money to heat it, cool it, clean it, maintain it when it gives you nothing back? Here's the simple but powerful action that I'm going to recommend. Pick one room that you're not really using, close the door, and mentally or literally, whatever you want to do, put a sign on it that says temporarily retired. I know that might feel strange and it sounds strange, and you might think wasteful, but it's not wasteful. It's actually intentional. You're not giving up a room forever. You're actually pausing its role in the daily life until you figure out what you actually want to do with it. Because right now, it's doing nothing. Here's what happens though when you do this: you take back control, less to clean, less to heat, fewer decisions that you have to make every single day. You're not shrinking your life, you're actually focusing it. The average homeowner, they spend hundreds of extra dollars every year heating and cooling these rooms that they just never use. Close the doors, and that money stays in your pocket. Quick sidebar: if you're actually navigating this kind of transition right now, this is exactly where having a strategic plan pays off. What I encourage you to do is book a 30-minute transition strategy call with me, and we talk through what part of life you're in right now and what the future might hold and how we can optimize it to fit your needs. All right, let's get back to the strategy with point number 2. Redesign the life that you actually live. I want you to forget the floor plan. Forget what the real estate listing promised 20 years ago. Instead, I want you to ask yourself this: where do I actually spend 90% of my time? Maybe it's that sunny chair where you read every morning. Maybe it's the kitchen island where you chat, snack, scroll through your phone. Maybe it's one quiet corner of your bedroom or the back patio. That's your real home. Not the rooms that you never enter, not the spaces that you feel guilty for not using. Here's the action step that I'd recommend to you: pick one space where you already feel good and double down on it. Add a reading lamp that makes evenings cozier. Install a small shelf for the books or the tools that you always reach for. Repaint that wall in a color that actually energizes you. Declutter it so it feels calmer, more intentional. You don't need to redesign your entire home, just the parts that matter. Good interior designers, they're going to tell you it's not all about the square footage. It's about meaning per square foot. Focus there. And then strategy number 3: shrink the footprint, not the floor plan. You don't need to live in every single room every single day. You just need a home that feels warm and intentional. That's why I encourage people to create what I call the core home: 2, 3, maybe 4 rooms that support your daily life. Spaces that are connected, cozy, easy to move through. The rest of them, let it fade into the background for now. Here's how to map your core home. Grab a pen and paper, sketch your home layout. It does not have to be perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Now circle the 3 or 4 rooms that you use and love the most. These are your priority zones. This is where your energy, your time, your budget will have the biggest impact. Design around how you actually live, not how your home was supposed to be or how it was staged at one point in time. Because when you focus on your core home, the areas that you actually use, something surprising happens. Your house may feel half the size, but twice as alive. Now, strategy number four, build flexibility into every room and prepare for every stage. And what do I mean by this? Well, a guest room does not have to be a ghost room sitting there empty 300 plus a days a year. It can be your craft room, your yoga space, your dressing room, and still be ready for guests when it's needed. The same goes for every part of your home. A breakfast table, that can double as your remote work setup. A window ledge, that could be a mini herb garden. Every room should work harder and not just sit there waiting to be useful someday. Here's the action step. Pick one room or underused space and ask yourself, what else could this space do for me on the other 300 days of the year when no guests are visiting? Then give it a second life. Add a fold down desk. Use storage ottomans that double as seating. Try a stylish day bed instead of a traditional guest bed. When every room starts to earn its keep, your home starts to feel bigger, even if it isn't. Now, here's the part that most people don't think about until it's too late. Aging in place specialists, and they call this universal design modifications. And these are modifications that make your home work for you at every stage of life. And I'm going to name a few of these. And things like grab bars in the bathroom, lever handles instead of doorknobs, a zero threshold shower with no step over, handrails on both sides of the stairs, non-slip flooring, wider doorways. These are just to name a few of them. And they're not just for when you're old. They're actually smart design that makes your home safer and easier to navigate right now. If you had a knee injury tomorrow, what would you struggle with in your own house? Look around and ask yourself that question. Walk through your home and ask it over and over again in every room, and that's your universal design checklist. Strategy number five, moving on, that is protect your wealth while you stay. Now, here's what makes downsizing from the inside different than just redecorating. This is a financial decision that you're making, not just an emotional one. Let's say your home, it's worth $600,000 and you have $200,000 in equity. That's wealth. The question is, how do you protect it, grow it, and eventually transfer it without being forced to sell at the wrong time? This is where your professional team matters. Your CPA, they can help you understand how staying in your home affects your tax situation, especially if you're approaching Medicare and you need to start thinking about something called IRMA and those thresholds. Your real estate attorney, they can make sure that your home is titled correctly and your family won't face probate nightmares. Your certified financial planner, on the other hand, they can show you how your home equity fits into your overall retirement picture. Now, I'm not a CPA or an attorney, but as a transition strategist, my job is to give you the questions to ask them so you show up prepared and not confused. Here's the key insight, though. Staying in your home isn't just about comfort. It can actually be a wealth strategy if you're intentional about it. But you need to have these conversations before you need them, not during a crisis. Strategy number six, if you move, move with intention. Look, sometimes moving is the right choice. Maybe your health needs have changed. Maybe your finances demand it and they require a shift. Maybe you've simply outgrown your old story and it's just time for a new chapter. But if you move, move with care. Don't follow the latest trend, whether that's downsizing, tiny living, minimalist everything, or just moving closer to the grandkids just because you feel like you should. Ask yourself, does this new space support my daily rituals? Can I rest well here? Is there beauty where I need it? Not just in photos, but in real life. Here's your action step. Before you downsize your home, make a list of what you're not willing to downsize. Your peace, your freedom, your joy. Let that list guide your decisions because the best moves, they aren't about having less. They're about having more of what actually matters to you. Now, let me bring this all together for us. If you are facing a major life transition and you're trying to figure out how real estate fits into the picture, book a transition strategy call with me. And here's how it would work. Successful transitions, they actually require three different teams for three different phases. And phase one is what I call life. That's where I come in. That's where I'm walking alongside you. We'll identify which transition you're trying to navigate. In your case, it's probably downsizing, and it's one of the 12 Ds that I work and help people through. We're going to map out the challenges that you're likely to face and then separate the facts and assumptions and create a plan to achieve your goal. This is project management applied to your life transition. And then we'll focus on phase two. And this is your wealth optimization. So, your CPA, your estate attorney, and your certified financial planner, they handle this phase, but I'll give you the questions to ask and the concepts to explore with each of them. I'm not replacing your professional team, I'm making sure that you show up prepared. And then we have phase three, which is real estate. When it's time to execute, if it's time to execute, that's an entirely different team. Whether you're here in Colorado Springs or anywhere else in the country, I connect you with someone from my nationwide referral network who's tailor made for your specific situation. I spend an inordinate amount of time maintaining those relationships so I can make sure to connect you to the right person. And don't forget, sometimes the answer is don't do real estate right now. And I'll tell you that if it's true. Book your call at askweldonhobbs.com, and I'm happy to talk through this with you. Create that plan that is tailored and works for your situation. If you found this video valuable and you're thinking about aging in place long term, you need to see the next video on preparing your estate while you stay in your home. That's a conversation most people have too late. Don't be one of them. I'm Weldon Hobbs. I'm a transition strategist, project management professional, certified financial coach, and real estate professional located here in Colorado Springs, but I serve people across this country. If this was helpful, hit that subscribe button. I post content every week on navigating life transitions, optimizing wealth outcomes, and executing real estate strategy. Look forward to seeing you in the next one.